Production funding for Flying Squirrels Insider is made possible in part by Virginia College Savings Plan. Save for tomorrow's higher education expenses with Virginia 529's 4 flexible tax-advantaged college savings plans. Details at virginia529.com. And by the Greater Richmond Chamber Save Low Fares campaign. Richmond is in danger of becoming one of America's most expensive airports again. Flying AirTran, Southwest, and JetBlue supports airline competition. Details at savelowfares.com.
Laying out with a headlong dive. Did he make that catch? It's Lawless. And Lawless with a miraculous counter and kicks and fires. Swing and a miss. He struck him out with a changeup. And the Squirrels are the champs in the West.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first edition of Flying Squirrels Insider. I'm one of your hosts, Anthony Oppermann, alongside my broadcast partner, John Laaser. And as everybody knows, the Flying Squirrels, we like to do things a little bit differently, Lays, and Flying Squirrels Insider will be no exception.
No, it's really not, Ops, and great to be with you as always. We're going to try to bring the entire ballpark experience to you every couple of weeks in just 30 minutes. Of course, this is going to be your place to find out what's happening with the Flying Squirrels on the field. We're going to have guests, we're going to have tutorials, and we're going to take you to the diamond periodically to see what's going on behind the scenes. But we're also going to introduce you to the entertainers, the sponsors, the employees, and everybody else, including our production team here at WCVW, that makes Flying Squirrels baseball go.
A lot going on in this first episode of the show. We'll go behind the scenes of Flying Squirrels Media Day with returning catcher Johnny Monell. Also have what is sure to be a memorable conversation with the Vice President and CEO of the Flying Squirrels, Todd Parnell. But before we get into that, we'll introduce the 2012 edition of the Flying Squirrels and have a complete roster breakdown. That and more coming up here on Flying Squirrels Insider. And welcome back to Flying Squirrels Insider. Flying Squirrels are getting ready to return home from their first road trip. Speaking of returning home, Squirrels welcoming back their skipper from 2011, Dave McAmmer. And Lays, Dave is going to be an important part of guiding this ball club as they look to build upon a season in 2011 where they went to the Eastern League Championship Series and won the Western Division Championship.
I really think that Mac, as he's known around the ballpark and around the game of baseball, is so integral to the success that the Squirrels had last year. He was the even keel and the calm in that clubhouse. It wasn't necessarily a talent-loaded roster at the end of the year that advanced to the Eastern League Championship Series, but he brought that. He brought that kind of let's leave it all out in the field mentality to the Squirrels in 2011, and that's what you can expect this year. And what's even better for the Squirrels players and their fans is the fact that he'll have a familiarity now with Ross Grimsley as pitching coach, who's back here in Richmond for the 3rd season, and also Kenny Joyce, who he hadn't worked with yet, back with the hitters and should have a little bit more to work with in 2012. That's Ken Joyce as the hitting coach, new trainer, new strength and conditioning coach. That will only improve things as well for the Squirrels. So you look at a strength of a ball club in the clubhouse, and Mac will definitely set that tone.
One of the big storylines for the Flying Squirrels in 2012 and looking at their opening day roster is the fact that for the first time in 3 years as a Giants affiliate, Flying Squirrels get some of the top prospects in the Giants organization, and that headlined by outfielder Gary Brown, the top overall prospect according to Baseball America.
It's not necessarily that the Squirrels hadn't had talented players or prospect players over their first couple of years, Ops, but we call them top-flight prospects, middle-level prospects, and then, of course, some of your more far-reaching prospects. Squirrels have had a bunch of those middle-level prospects. This is the first time you're going to have not one, but 2 dynamic top-flight prospects in Gary Brown, who you mentioned, Tommy Joseph, who should take over as the everyday catcher after he gets through a little arm trouble at the beginning of the season. But you look at Gary Brown, and not only is he that dynamic prospect that you'll see a lot of times in the pitching staff, he's a guy that Squirrels fans will get to see every day patrolling center field. And as we know, the cavernous capacity of the outfield at the diamond, that'll make it even more excitement. We'll get to watch him run down balls, we'll get to see him stealing bases, and we'll get to see him overall setting the tone at the top of the order for the Squirrels team. So if you're going to have an exciting prospect to headline your opening day roster, Gary Brown's just about as good as you can hope for.
53 stolen bases for Gary Brown in 2011 with advanced ace San Jose. The thing that'll be fun to watch, balls in the alley hit by Brown. Could be a lot of doubles and especially triples for the Flying Squirrels center fielder. The other guy that you mentioned, Lace, catcher Tommy Joseph, just 20 years old, coming to the AA Eastern League. His bat certainly carries the weight. He's got strong abilities behind the plate, but Tommy's key to get to the big leagues definitely going to be offensively.
Giants don't like to show you all their cards about how they feel about guys too often. They're not all that hesitant with Tommy Joseph, and you can see in his advancement here to AA that last year went quite swimmingly, thank you, because they pushed him to San Jose as a 19-year-old in the California League, which can be a daunting task, particularly when you are known for your bat, like Tommy Joseph is, and you're asked to handle a young group of pitchers as well. He did both of those things extremely admirably, and not only did he lead the club in home runs with 22 last year, but he also led the league in throwing out would-be base stealers at a clip of 37%, which was a mark on him going in to last year. So the Giants feel very comfortable with him coming here. I've had the chance to talk to him a couple of times. You wouldn't know he's 20 years old. He's a great young kid, and again, a guy who's going to impact this team not every 5 days, but every day. They always say start with strength up the middle. With Brown and Joseph, you've got a pretty darn good start.
Tommy Joseph looking to build upon a season in which he hit 22 home runs in the California League. Certainly, if he can duplicate those numbers in the pitcher-friendly Eastern League, tells you something about where he's at in terms of being a prospect. The other big story lays to the fact that you've got 14 guys on the Flying Squirrels opening day roster that are returning from some point in 2011 that they were members of the Flying Squirrels, and that headlined by catcher Johnny Monell. He's definitely one of the spiritual and emotional leaders of the Flying Squirrels.
He definitely is, and going back to what I mentioned about the clubhouse and that tone being set with Dave McAmmer, you also need leaders from the players as well to create that environment, and no one did that better than Johnny Monell did last year for the Squirrels, and I have a bet, although I wasn't there, that he's done throughout his career. He's a vivacious young guy. We're going to see that coming up in the next segment, but you know what? He can swing the bat pretty darn well as well, and I think what's curious about it is Monell went into last season as the everyday catcher and the primary catcher for the Flying Squirrels and was considered a prospect. He's a little bit older at 26 than Tommy Joseph is at 20, and it's going to be curious to see what his role is full-time on this team. I think the Giants would like to see him at first base a little bit. I know they're going to have him DH because, as we saw in the postseason when he hit .478 last year, he can carry a team offensively. But this much we do know. Johnny Monell is going to be a big part of this team going forward, whether or not it's handling the pitchers, which I think he'll do while Joseph gets into game shape with his arm at the beginning of the year. But otherwise, I think you're going to see him pop up in some places that we didn't necessarily see last season. But again, from a clubhouse standpoint, he's a guy you love to have around, and I can't wait for people on this show to see just why when we go behind the scenes with him here in a little bit.
Talk about being strong up the middle, and for the Flying Squirrels, the middle of the infield is going to be interesting to watch this year with both Ryan Cavan and Ihire Adrianza at second base and shortstop, respectively. There's also another interesting storyline to follow on the infield with Chris Dominguez. Squirrels fans got used to him at third base, but he's going to be a little bit more of a on the move this year.
Chris Dominguez is a guy like Johnny Monell that I was just discussing where his bat leads the way, and defensively you try to find a place where he fits. Now, the odd thing about Chris Dominguez is the fact that he's got the best arm on the team, and that includes all the pitchers. This is a guy who can rev it up to 94, 95 miles per hour, so third base seemed like an ideal time and an ideal place for him to be. That acclimation hasn't gone as smoothly as people would have hoped up the Giants' ladder. So you're going to see him at third base, but you're also going to see him across the infield at first base, and I do believe you're going to see him at right field where, of course, his big arm will play well as well. Now, Adrianza, people remember Brandon Crawford. They'll see a lot of him in the big leagues this year. He's about as defensively acrobatic, shall we say, as you're going to find at the shortstop position, except for this guy. This guy's supposed to be even better, a young Venezuelan. He does it, and he does it with flair. Cavan on the other side, more of a rock. So it'll be interesting to see those two turning double plays, that keystone combination. You got the flash and you got the substance, and you've got, hopefully, what will be a potent defensive lineup up the middle. It sure plays out that way on paper.
Already talked about Gary Brown in center field, but for the Flying Squirrels, also another familiar face in the outfield, headlined by Juan Perez.
Yeah, Brown's going to grab all the headlines, but we saw every at-bat last year, and I can tell you this. Juan Perez was the best center fielder defensively at the AA level. So you move him over to either right field or left field, depending on where Chris Dominguez finds himself on that particular day's lineup card, and you all of a sudden have a heck of a defensive outfield with Perez able to get to the balls in the gap that Brown can't get to, which shouldn't be that many. And Perez, also one of your offensive catalysts during the postseason last year. So it's going to be exciting regardless of which side he flanks Brown on. And also with Dominguez out there, we saw him a couple of times doing it last year as far as taking balls out there. I don't think it's going to be a problem. And the problems he does have ranging to balls, he'll be able to make up with his arm. So the Squirrels defensively should be pretty sound. That continues into the outfield. And also offensively, these guys are more than going to be capable of holding their own.
Certainly it's a big ballpark at the Diamond, and for the Flying Squirrels, it's important that the pitchers have ample supply of defense behind them. It looks like they will get that lace, but we look at this pitching staff for the Flying Squirrels, and it's an interesting mix. You've got a lot of younger guys experiencing the level for the first time, and then you've got almost equally as many guys coming back and veteran guys as well. It'll be an interesting balance.
I like this. I like this when you make a pitching staff the way the Giants have at the AA level because, as you mentioned, you'll get some veteran guys at this level, and the Squirrels are very fortunate to bring back Darryl Madej, who has pitched almost every significant game in franchise history through the first couple of years. And Darryl's going to be there, and he's going to be converting to the bullpen full-time for the first time. And he'll be joined there by the guy you see in Austin Fleet. Now, Fleet was a guy, and somewhat of an afterthought out of Coastal Carolina coming up last year just to bolster the ranks when the Squirrels lost a couple of guys towards the tail end of the season. And you know what he did? He blew everyone away, and he did it in the postseason. He did it again in the Cactus League, so he's going to get some looks. And how about Bruce Bochy's son, Brett Bochy, who coming back off Tommy John surgery, all he did was post a sub-1.5 ERA last year in the South Atlantic League. He, along with Chris Glore, a big lefty, are going to be challenged in the Eastern League to make more than a level jump. They're skipping the California League, as are three guys on this pitching staff. They're going to be joined by Justin Fitzgerald, Darryl Madej, and some veterans who can hopefully, along with Ross Grimsley, help guide their path and turn this into, again, the top pitching staff in the Eastern League like the Squirrels had last year.
Pitching was certainly a big reason for the Flying Squirrels' success last year. We'll see how the staff handles their transition this year. Lace, was there anything that we left out?
I don't think so. I think we touched on pretty much everybody. We got prospects at the top, we've got youth in the bullpen and in the starting rotation, and oh, by the way, we've got Jason Stevenson throwing that screwball as well, talking about veterans. So it's a weird mix this year, but I say that it's a great mix. I'm looking forward to it.
Flying Squirrels already their first Flying Squirrels already underway here in 2012. Team returning home for the home opener on April the 12th. And when we come back here on Flying Squirrels Insider, we'll go behind the scenes with catcher Johnny Monell. He was the one that coined the phrase "defend the nest" during the Squirrels' postseason run a year ago. Johnny not short on personality, and he'll show that for us when we come back as he goes behind the scenes on Media Day and the Flying Squirrels' first day in town here in Richmond. That's next, coming up here on Flying Squirrels Insider. He became a fan favorite last year with the way that he swung the bat and also the flair that he had while doing it. He coined the phrase "defend the nest," and his theme song "Buzzin'" blared throughout the Diamond in 2011. Well, Johnny Monell is back with the Flying Squirrels in 2012, and we thought who better to be a correspondent for Flying Squirrels Insider during the team media day than the catcher and emotional and spiritual leader of the club, Mr. Monell himself.
This is Johnny Monell, behind the scenes with Richmond Flying Squirrels Insider, right? Boom.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, what size hat do you wear?
The biggest one you have. That's perfect.
Okay, let's, we gotta adjust this.
You got makeup too?
A little mascara, a little blush, good.
Thank you.
All right, your hat's right here.
Sit real tall. Turn straight on the chair. Chin down, chest. Smile. Great. All that.
That's it? So everyone in the clubhouse is trying to pick out their walkout song, but I'm actually gonna do mine in private so no one copies mine or have an idea. I'm more of a sound guy. It's not really the words, depending on the song, but you hear the trumpet on this? You hear the trumpets? That's what I like. See, and then a little bit of bass. It's a little different, you know, just, it's whatever.
How about this?
I like that. Sometimes I really... You don't want to see me dancing yet.
I think this should be it.
I don't know yet. There's this new thing going on about this dubstep music. I don't even know, I just heard about it. I guess I got lost in track of music trending or anything like that while I was in Puerto Rico. But it's a big hit. I got a couple songs that I like from, it's like bass and electric, whatever. I don't know, but it's a couple songs. Feel So Close, I love that song. Cinema, great song.
What about your boys Key, Snake, and Culberson with the country songs?
Oh, I mean, Charlie's from Georgia, Roger's from Texas, aka Big Tex. We call him Roger. I mean, that's their music preference. You're interested. I mean, you're around all these people. You want to know what they're like, what kind of music they like, or you know, what kind of person they are. You know, I mean, you're with these people for 140-some days. You gotta get to know them. Is that the 7th inning stretch song? It's Parney playing his music. I don't know if you know, but Parney's, he runs this place, basically owns it, and I'm his assistant, but it's not official, it's nothing official, but I'm still waiting for my business cards, and Parney said he's gonna probably put a desk behind those stadium seat chairs, but I'm still waiting. Still waiting.
How you doing? Well, thank you.
Do you work on your autograph? Like when you're bored at home and you doodle? No. You don't practice it?
I'm doing fine. I hope you are.
My order, ooh, look at my order's rookie card from the 70s. Well, what was that, 92?
I need to work on it.
Oh, huh?
I like it up here.
All right.
You want it up here? Doesn't matter. You think Murph can get me a Coke? Let's see if Murph gets me a Coke. You want something to drink?
Oh, is that right? Yeah, I'll wait. Yeah. Cool.
You're sounding upside down, man. Earlier today, I had a little session of how to pick your workout song. I did Going with Buzzin' by Maine. Everyone loved that last year. It's definitely a fan favorite. A lot of people tweeted me about that. Oh, we got stretching. You gonna stretch with us? Come on. Come on, let's go. What are you doing? Lottery?
Yeah. Put like 5 alarms on.
Do you have to get like taxes taken out of it like right away? Or can you get like...
No, you can take it as a lump sum, or you can take it yearly.
Now, your favorite question right here, are you gonna be putting that in stocks or are you just chilling with that?
No, I'm gonna put it in a full portfolio of stocks.
This guy's Wall Street right here.
Be all speculative.
Wall Street right here. Charlie Sheen right there.
Sorry, Johnny.
No blue chips and nose, all speculative.
Fair part of the day playing catch.
Let's go. Let's keep going.
Who's this, Kenny G?
Oh, Kenny Chesney.
I don't know who that is.
Of course.
I'm not talking about nothing.
Kenny Chesney?
No.
Brian, you don't know Kenny Chesney is?
Dude, come on, time out. How many songs you know?
No, yeah, I mean, if one comes on, I know.
Okay, but one comes on, but no one.
But I know who Kenny Chesney is.
Like if you put 3 guys that probably look like Kenny Chesney, I probably won't even know who he is. I don't even know if he's...
I can pick him out.
I can't pick him out. Thanks for hanging out with me today. More Flying Squirrel Insider coming up next. Boom.
Welcome back to the first ever Flying Squirrels Insider. Our thanks to Johnny Monell for taking you behind the scenes of Media Day, and we've now met the team. So let's meet the man. and his pants. Joining us on set here, the Flying Squirrels Insider. Of course, we couldn't debut something new pertaining to the Flying Squirrels without welcoming in our boss, but also our good friend, Vice President, COO of the Squirrels, Todd Parney Parnell. Sir, I can see here you are, in fact, geared up for another season.
I'm ready. Ops and Lays, the only time I ever see you guys dressed up is I never see you guys dressed up, so you look really nice, and I'm happy to be here. And the pants are indicative that the season is here, so we're ready to go.
What I noticed was when we walked in the building today, they said, to Anthony and I, get into the makeup department. You were with us. They didn't take you in there, so apparently they think you're looking fine, looking ready for your 27th or 29th or 400th season in minor league baseball. We're not quite sure what.
It's 24th, I think, but I'm well preserved. That's why my skin's so nice.
We do know this much, though. We say each and every year we want to do things bigger, we want to do things better, and we know that opening day, particularly the home opener, is our first opportunity to showcase that. We don't take much seriously in life, but that is something that we do take extremely seriously, and with that in mind, we get kicked off with a bang literally on April 12th, and all that does is open the door to a huge first homestand.
Well, I've been really impressed with the job everybody's done in the off season, and by everybody I mean not only us in the front office, but the people in the community that have worked with us. We have not lost any momentum at all, I don't think, that we created during our second season. So I think that we're very well placed for a terrific start to the season. Of course, as you just mentioned, Lays, opening night is going to be wonderful. We've done a really great job of creating momentum for that. Then there's 2 giveaways, I believe, and another fireworks show on that first weekend. So the first weekend is going to be action-packed from start to finish.
Yeah, we're going to give away fleece blankets. Those are going to commemorate the Western Division Championship. And before we go forward, just discuss that a little bit, how much that meant to this organization. We had some weather troubles throughout the season last year. We didn't hide from those. We needed a postseason run a little bit more than some do.
Well, we did, and I think more so really than us, though, Lays. I think it was good for everybody in the community. I mean, I think the Richmond Flying Squirrels have become one of those things where fans can grab onto and embrace us. And we've certainly, as people that have all moved into this area and love this area now, embraced them back. And I think what the playoffs did was it really gave us something to cheer for. It gave something for people to be proud of. I'll never forget Johnny Monell jumping on the dugout after we beat Harrisburg with a bottle of champagne that we had just given him and starting to spray down the fans. And I thought that was pretty good indicator of how he felt about the fans and how our fans felt about our team. And it was really a bonding moment that will always resonate with me.
You know, obviously the big focus, Parney, is the first week and getting the season started on a good note. But beyond that, you look at the promo schedule and the promotions coming up throughout the year, and it really doesn't stop. In May, you've got the Human Cannonball launch, which is going to be
Had to do that.
Awesome. You look later in the year, giving away a live pony, Justin Verlander bobblehead giveaway, Dave McAmmer Garden Gnome giveaway. I mean, it really doesn't stop this year. There's stuff throughout the course of the season.
Well, I think we work really hard as a group, and you guys are right there in the room every step of the way to really reinvent ourselves, not only every year, but really every day, every month, every hour, every week. And I think this promotional schedule is really, really strong. We spent a lot of time at the retreat this year when you weren't laying on the beach, Lays, next to animals. We spent a lot of time talking about how we could be different. You forgot my favorite is Nutsy Chia Pet giveaway. I think that's going to be awesome as well. So I think there's something for everybody. You know, the giveaways that we have for our silver squirrels that are focused around the kitchen. So by the end of the season, you can have all kinds of stuff for your kitchen, salt and pepper shakers. I think it's a very thoughtful process that we had. Very fun, and I think our fans are going to enjoy it a lot.
You referenced the sea turtle I was laying next to getting some sun during the retreat, so I'll bring it up. Shelley is a valuable member of our promotion staff. She came up with the Human Cannonball and also midget wrestling, I might add. Do you find it a tad discriminatory to go 60 minutes on you that they won't let you participate in either one of those due to size?
Well, I'm going to be involved in both of those. You just watch. Especially the second one. I got that all figured out. But those things are going to be fun. Somebody asked me the other day about the Human Cannonball and asked if we were just going to pick somebody out of the stands. I hadn't thought about that.
I volunteered.
Yeah, it should be fun, though. I think that the atmosphere at the ballpark, you know, we've all worked really hard to make sure that we can make it better every year, and I think we're going to.
And also in terms of building that family environment, it's not just about the fans, but it also involves the team and making the team feel a part of it as well. And that's something that I think the front office staff puts a lot of time and effort into, making those relationships with the players and the coaching staff.
Well, every year when the team gets here, I speak to them and I say our goal as a front office staff is for Richmond, Virginia to be your favorite minor league spot that you go to during your career. I think almost to a person since we've been here, that's been the case as people have left. And you actually have a situation sometimes, and you guys probably know more than me, that when a guy gets sit down from AAA, they're not quite as disturbed as maybe they would be because they enjoy the atmosphere, they enjoy Richmond as a city, they enjoy us as a front office. And so I think we've done a really good job of creating that environment. Plus, it's helpful, as you guys know, we're so integrated in the community and our players are needed to help us with that. That atmosphere helps them be more desirous of going into doing those things for us.
Barn, we're just about time on the first ever Flying Squirrels Insider, so in 10 words or less, what do you think of this new highfalutin set we got here?
This thing is hot. I like it a lot. It's awesome. It makes me feel like I've made something out of my life.
Well, hey, thanks for being here, big guy. Like I said, we couldn't kick something off without you being a part of it. We certainly do appreciate it. We look forward to April 12th. I believe that's a sellout already at this point. So the rest of the homestands, certainly we invite people to give us a call and come on down for tickets for that and everything else throughout the season with the Flying Squirrels. Parn was, of course, here for my broadcast partner, Anthony Oppermann, our producer, Craig Keaton, who did a great job throwing this all together, and all the rest here at WCVW. We think it was successful. So long for the first ever Flying Squirrels Insider.
Production funding for Flying Squirrels Insider is made possible in part by Virginia College Savings Plan. Save for tomorrow's higher education expenses with Virginia 529's 4 flexible tax-advantaged college savings plans. Details at virginia529.com. And by the Greater Richmond Chamber Save Low Fares campaign. Richmond is in danger of becoming one of America's most expensive airports again. Flying AirTran, Southwest, and JetBlue supports airline competition. Details at savelowfares.com.